gentlemen, as we all know, with the introduction of the Companies Bill in the Parliament and with its new provisions on corporate social responsibility, there is a big paradigm shift. The CSR has moved from myth to reality. This shift has been possible due to the initiatives undertaken by the government, financial institutions, NGOs, corporates, and other stakeholders.
Namaskar, and a very happy morning to all of you. Respected Padma Bhushan Srimati Rajshri Birla, Chairperson FICCI, Aditya Birla Center for CSR Excellence, Dr. Bhaskar Chatterjee, Director General and CSO IICA, Mr. Tony Tenisila, Global Leader in Business Development IBM USA, and Dr. Huzefa Khorakiwala, Executive Director WOCHART, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome the much needed initiative of the Global Conference on CSR taken by Samabhavana Society in partnership with Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Government of India, in collaboration with FICCI, Aditya Birla Center for CSR Excellence, to bridge the gap between the corporates and civil society so as to put in place a system for concrete projectivization coordination. I quote a few words from the famous phrase of the English poet John Donne: "No man is an island, entire of itself. Each part is a piece of the continent, a part of the main." The essence of this poetry conveys only one message: we have no option but to coexist and cooperate. None of us can thrive in isolation.
Namaskar. Good morning to all. At IBM, we consider corporate social responsibility to be multifunctional, multicultural, and all aspects. And our commitment is to address the needs and wants of our employees, of our customers, partners, suppliers. In essence, when we look at corporate social responsibility and the definition of CSR around the world, it's about creating global citizenship. It's about how do we support our employees in the corporate sector to be good global corporate citizens that have respect for the environment, respect for culture, respect for individuality, respect for differences.
A corporate has many stakeholders. We have the employees, we have the customers, suppliers, then we have the investors, we have the government, and we also have the society. So the CSR deals with how you take care of the society and what is your responsibility to the society. So at present, in the Companies Bill, it has been mentioned 2% of the profit.
Let me at the outset thank Samabhavana, IBM, and all of those who have put together this very timely get-together. Since, as has already been mentioned by the initial speakers, CSR is now coming into the mainstream of not just corporate thinking, but virtually everyone's thinking.
Let me start with positive frames. Most of us in this room here are Indians, and I hope, like me, we are all proud Indians. Proud of the sea change in India's economic position. Proud of democracy. Proud that we continue to grow at 6%, even as the developed nations, unfortunately, continue to face economic uncertainties.
Samabhavana as an NGO has achieved its dream to commence on a journey of ensuring that grassroots civil society organizations such as us are able to connect and you for projectivization, so as to be able to achieve the Millennium Development Goals and the vision of Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Institute of Corporate Affairs, which is shared by all those who are present and not present, because many couldn't come due to distance and financial reasons, as citizens of India. I thank Padma Bhushan Srimati Rajshri Birla for having inaugurated the conference by her gracious presence, along with Dr. Huzefa Khorakiwala, and blessing it with their auspicious hands. I take this opportunity to thank IBM, the presenting sponsor, HDFC Life Limited, TCCI, whose support enabled us to put this global conference on CSR, and Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, whose blessings, encouragement, and most important, faith in us to be able to pull this graciously.
When I unfold the provisions of the bill, I want you to remember that the idea here is not what each company will do. Idea is not how they will also do it. We would like to leave much of that initiative to the companies themselves, their boards, their CSR committees, their policies. They should be individualistic and suited to themselves, and in areas where they themselves feel they can make a difference.
New companies bill is going to serve the purpose or not. When we look at what the companies bill is actually doing, it's is just asking the corporations a very simple question that when we are trying to grow, nurture, pay our employees, provide a return to our shareholders, we extract a lot of resources from the society. And the companies bill is nudging us to answer a simple question: what you as a company are actually giving back to the society. And can you please inform us? And when you're formally responding to that question, then hopefully you will end up doing something also in the process. So that's a simple question being asked. That's what the companies bill is nudging us to do. And the response from the corporations, I think, can come in three forms. One is that they might look at it as a cost of doing business. When I talk to a lot of my peers, invariably the response, people who are doing nothing about this, say that, okay, this is now a cost of doing business. Is it going to be tax exempt? So the immediate questions which come to a lot of people's mind is it a cost of doing business? There are some other very specific questions which I'm sure we can get through, but let me assure you that what I have seen, most of the CSR activity invariably starts because of personal motives or legal compliance. The best thing which Companies Bill has done, and I think it applies to this session we are having here, if we were to make a presentation, I think our level of preparedness would have been different. We are being asked to make some points, level of preparedness is different. If we were just to answer questions, I think level of preparedness would be different. So by Companies Bill, by asking companies to put an annual report, something very, very specifically, I think it's going to ensure a certain level of activity, which is great. I think it's a very, very positive move, and hopefully it can lead to very good things happening in the society. Thank you.
My dear friends, CSR is one of the most important in our day-to-day life now. It may be a small company or a big company. CSR has become a part and parcel of it. It is the prime responsibility of each of the boards, that is board of directors of these center PSUs or other corporate, to indulge in CSR activities in such a way that it should fulfill not only the things which they think are fit to do any such activity, but for whole of the society, community, and each and every one of us, which is going to have an impact on that. Now,
I am G.J. Deshpande, Regional Executive Director, presently placed at Mumbai. In fact, till 2010, I was working as a head of project in NTPC in number of places, and I was responsible for implementing all the CSR projects in NTPC, particularly in remotest place like Korba in Chhattisgarh, Kawas in Gujarat, Farakka in West Bengal, Talcher, Kenya in Orissa, and Kanti in Muzaffarpur. Just one line about NTPC. NTPC, you all know, is a Maharatna company, more than 41,000 megawatt capacity. And now in India, our installed capacity is 17%, but our total supply of electricity is 27% across all India. So every fourth bulb is lighted up by NTPC.
CSR becomes very, very important because that's an engagement with the people. And that's the engagement with how they want to look at or how they want to portray that we are very close to you. So I will cover 3 P's today. Not public-private partnership, but 3 parts which are people, people, and people. People, your customers, very, very important. Because without customers today, the companies can't exist. Your employees, your internal stakeholders, and your investors, the third public. So these 3 P's, when they combine, that's what we are talking about, the brand, the CSR.
I have prepared some points, so I may be a little repetitive. Please bear with me, and I have a bad throat, so I may cough a bit in between. So in India, we've seen business move from philanthropic focus to that of holistic sustainability approach with business models that go beyond financial gains. These models have looked at creating a wider economic, environmental, and social impact using a profit-driven business approach. I believe that ensuring long-term business success by contributing towards economic and social development, a healthy environment, and a stable society may be a close definition of CSR and sustainable development that has emerged in India.
I think someone said about branding. It's very important also to kind of have employees understand that your brand matters, and IBM brand is one of the world's well-known brands, and it's important for us to be able to establish and grow the brand. So in IBM, if you really look at it, we say IBM brand is experienced by our clients and others through IBMers. So it's very important, therefore, to choose the right kind of people who understand what branding is all about and really help grow the brand. And our talent, of course, is the greatest asset that we have.
This is a quick introduction of PVR Limited. It's the largest cinema exhibition network in India with 351 screens, recently acquired Cinemax, 85 locations and at around 90,000 seats, and amongst the top 10 multiplex chain across the globe in terms of its footfalls. 56 million consumers has entered 2012 and 13 at PVR. We are the market leader with approximately 40% of share of Hollywood movie collections and around 22% share of Bollywood movie collections in India. So the CSR at PVR's context was very, very clearly coming out from our consumers, connecting with our patrons, with our clients, connecting with our society and community we operate. And it was very important for us to change the way we were working within the company. So that, I think, was a very, very important core to make the company progressive and forward-looking, both inside and outside.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you know that our Indian economy, despite the recent dip, has been doing fairly well. Over last about 8 to 10 years, our average growth has been about 7.5 to 8%, which is very creditable. We have 1 billion, over 1 billion population, which is a great asset in case we want to make it an asset. We have a population where average age of the population is only 28 years. But along with this, there are a tremendous amount of challenges.
My presentation is split in 3 parts, which are also reflecting some of the roles that I played in my previous 26 years of journey. I'm presently heading Swades Foundation, and as an organization which is rapidly scaling up to reach 1 million people directly in a span of 4 to 5 years with clearly articulated exit strategy and with an estimated overlay of about 500 crores in the next 5 years. What are the key challenges that we are facing as we are implementing our projects at this point in time? The second part of my presentation would talk about a case study, which is when I was heading CSR and sustainability for Coca-Cola India and Southeast Asia. The kind of partnership that we're trying to form and what are the challenges that we're facing to implement CSR programs across India and 6 other countries, which I was looking at. And third is overall challenges and probably some solutions in implementing CSR or forming such partnership, which have been so vociferously and so eloquently mentioned by 2 previous speakers, particularly Deepa and General Rajendra Singh ji. I think they've actually set the tone for my presentation.
Okay, is this working now? I guess it is. Okay, thank you very much. And I'm to bring the international perspective on this. I really appreciate IICA's organization of this conference. I particularly appreciate Mr. Chatterjee's excellent presentation this morning on the new law, which sounds wonderful. Everyone was in rapt attention. I really admired that. I also appreciate my panelists who have covered some excellent points today and consistent with what I would want to cover. I think the importance of partnership is critical. The fact that we need to unleash the power of business to solve some of our most important problems, not only in this country but in the world, is actually absolutely what is behind all of this. The skills that were articulated by IBM were perfect, I thought, in terms of what should be followed in the CSR, and also the power of the story, which I'm hoping to replicate right now to tell you about a story that we've had. Now we've had, next slide please. So we've worked in about 25 countries, and we have about 10 strategic partnerships with international companies in a variety of sectors, working on a variety of projects. And what I thought I would do is to tell you one particular story about our experience working with a few of these companies and what we learned in that process. Before I do that, I just thought I'd go through some of the learnings at the beginning and at the end so you can listen for them in the story.
I'll begin by introducing myself. I am Manoj Arora, presently Additional Director General Export Promotion in Ministry of Finance, which may sound a little mundane for the context of this event. I was with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, where I was responsible for formulating the government policy on business responsibility, a part of which we are discussing today. As I see that yesterday we had a quick overview of what is there in the company's bill, which is coming by way of an offshoot of what is the policy of government on the larger subject of business responsibility. We also had a discussion on how these issues get tackled in a board. And today we are going to look at the operational side of CSR, that is the corporate social responsibility.
Let me first of all start by saying that whenever there is a partnership between an NGO and the corporate, especially a large corporate, large organization like State Bank of India, what we look for is the strategic fit. What is it that what we are aiming to achieve? What is the societal value that we are aiming to deliver? Once we look at that, we will know which will be the organization or NGO which can serve this purpose. There has to be a strategic fit. It cannot be that we have some mission, we have some vision, and the NGO is totally at a different plane. It cannot be that. The NGO has to fit in very much with our CSR vision and mission, and only then it becomes a strategic fit.
Today we are talking about partnerships, which I feel is the most crucial aspect of the CSR development and generally the development goals that we are targeting in India. The partnerships are between development organization like an NGO and the corporate. We have a two-way exchange and enriching options, but also I'll say that there is a third angle to it, which is the community. So we have to take into account basically the three partners. One is NGO, one is corporate, and one is the community.
I have a very short presentation, which I would like to present, a 7-8 minute presentation, which would give you all the details, a small synopsis of the entire project. But before doing that, let me also share my experience when you talked about the difficulties and challenges which we faced when we went out. Since we were targeting the tailoring community, it made sense to refer to the 2001 census and see from where and which state you get a lot of tailors coming into the system. So there were two states which came up. One was UP and the other one was Bihar. This was last year. We started this project in May 2012.
So I actually titled my presentation Synergies and Partnerships for a Successful CSR Implementation. I can't see the presentation over here, so you'll know whether I'm actually reading to the presentation or speaking off my head. So what I'm going to try and endeavor is, as Manoj said, is try and look at how we as a corporate, or maybe actually any corporate, looks at CSR projects, and then how do they go at defining what projects they need to do in the local context, in the global context, as well as and from there on how we look at partnerships.
समाज के केंद्र में जो चर्चा का विषय है वो है कारपोरेट, चाहे वो CSR को लेके हो चाहे उनकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को लेके हो। इस बीच जो नई बात आई वो है नई कंपनी बिल में जो CSR स्पेंडिंग को मैंडेटरी किया जा रहा है। मुझे लगता है कि ये CSR स्पेंडिंग जो मैंडेटरी है वो संसद में जरूर पास हो जाएगा। अभी भास्कर चटर्जी जी ने जो पिछली बार एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में ये बात कही थी कि यदि कंपनियां CSR स्पेंडिंग को करती हैं, मैंडेटरी की जाती है, तो इंडियन कॉर्पोरेट्स को 27,000 करोड़ रुपए जो है खर्च करने होंगे।
Very good afternoon to all of you. I would like to begin by thanking IICA for this great and a very timely initiative of organizing such an event, and their partners Samabhavna and others who have been collaborating in organizing this event. Since yesterday we have been listening to various eminent panelists who have been sharing their wise thoughts and perspectives, which have been very, very resourceful to listen to, and were bringing in quite new insights. And in this session, which is very important of the CSR and the Project Connect platforms that are existing. So before going into that, I would like to just share the voluntary sector perspective and the positioning of the sector in today's context, be it the legal framework or in the way the systems and the executions are happening, and the challenges that are encountered by the voluntary sector.
To me, when I go to these conferences here, some months ago, it was there at Taj Lands End. There were 2 preludes, one in Delhi, Bombay. So last 2 months I've been to at least 4 such meetings which are trying to connect corporates and NGOs, government to a certain extent, but by and large bringing NGOs and corporates together. And to me it always looks like this, in the room and outside the room. During tea breaks, during lunch, during cocktails and the networking dinner. I don't know how it was last evening, I wasn't here. So why is it like this? Because we're doing a lot of stuff to bring the two together for partnerships, but we're always not facing one another.
Good morning, everybody. I have been working in this sector for past 3 to 4 years, very less than everybody out here. And I have been working primarily in the CSR domain. On my research, in the corporate sector and the CSR, they face a lot of differentiation because it is a cost department. Why is it a cost department? Because NGOs are always wanting for grants. It's treated like that. It's not wrong, but there has to be a sustainable model.
Okay. So I just wanted to run through some strategies of fundraising, the art of giving. Like Pushpa mentioned, I think there's a lack of awareness on, there are organizations which are enablers in connecting corporates, NGOs, brands, and there are a lot of creative ways of going about partnering these 3 core aspects. I just wanted to give you a brief of some survey that was done, which is a Cone study, which is a well accepted study in the area of cause marketing, which says that surprisingly, if you see the bottom part of it, it says 83% Indians would like to be part of a truly important cause versus 45% in UK and 61% in US. So, which is very heartening to see that Indians are more conscious that they need to make a social impact and they want to be associated with brands, or they want to be part of this enabling process.
I don't know if you can tell by my name or by the way my accent. I'm actually Italian, and I've been here in Mumbai for 4 years, and I'm planning to stay for a very long time because doing CSR in this country is just fantastic. I mean, there are so many things to do, so many things to learn, so it was a great decision to come here. from London. So I'm just going to share a couple of slides because for a new way of partnership between NGOs and companies.
100 odd people in this auditorium, physically, culturally, intellectually, emotionally, we all come from a different background. 7 billion population of the world are completely unique. Yet we share one common desire, a desire to be peaceful and happy. We, the World Peacekeepers Movement, started a year ago with the mission to establish peace in everyday life. Founded by Dr. Huzaifa Karakiwala and myself, Anil Shetty, as an online movement. Today we stand with more than 500,000 people across the globe are a part of our movement. We call them as peacekeepers.
If sustainability and CSR is linked to what, as Pearl was saying, to how a company runs itself and what its business is, government isn't necessarily the best organization to be able to tell them how to move forward. Moreover, India's business does not operate in a bubble. It's linked to the rest of the world. So Indian businesses are clients, they're suppliers, they're partners, they're subsidiaries, they're sometimes owners of foreign companies.
I believe that what Parul was saying is very true, and this is one of the things that UNICEF is very particular about, will be the impact. In fact, we know, and it's quite clear that businesses will have an impact on the society and human rights, happen what may. The way they handle their businesses in terms of operation, they have an impact on their employee, on the marketplace, on the workplace, on their workforce and others. What will be important is to ensure, in fact, that they can monitor. Before the reporting, for me, the important part, it's the monitoring component. The reporting come after. It just comes that you are able to monitor and you are able to check if what is the impact and if it's positive or negative, and trying to lessen the negative part and increase the positive one. And then when you are able to monitor that, then after that you can have the transparency and the disclosure.
I would just like to correct, we really do not work per se with the corporate sector, but we do work a lot in the development sector. And we do, as part of that work, we engage with the civil society organizations or the government or the various donors, bilateral or multilateral, who come into India. Based on our work for standalone projects or projects which are spread out geographically and temporarily over a period of time, we do really look at that the experience from the field is that as and when the corporates, which are, not to say that they're not currently working in, but under the new guidelines, when you talk about monitoring and evaluation or reporting, that there are certain principles based on the kind of work that we've been able to do over the years that they should be following.